1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told, 8 for a wish, 9 for a kiss, 10 for a surprise you should be careful not to miss, 11 for health, 12 for wealth, 13, beware, it's the devil himself. Welcome to Walker's Guide and welcome to day 9 of 30 Days of Wild. And yeah, you probably recognise the first half of that poem. It's a well-known children's nursery rhyme about today's subject. That's right, it's about the magpie. The magpie is one of the easiest to identify birds that we have in the UK. The black and white body and wing with a little bit of iridescence is absolutely indicative, as is their little hop across the field. Member of the corvid family, actually one of the most intelligent birds there is. Magpie is one of the few non-mammal species that can actually pass the mirror test. The mirror test is quite simply you take the animal and you put a mark on it and it recognises that it's itself in the mirror. Magpies, members of the corvid family, incredibly intelligent for a bird. The actual name for the magpie is quite an interesting introduction of words into the English language. So the name magpie is not the original name. Originally, when the Romans arrived, they were called pica, meaning magpie. I mean, it's kind of simple, right? But over time, pica became pig, and pig became pie, and so on and so forth. So they were known for a long time as just pies. But why did their name change to magpies? Well, the mag bit comes from Margaret. And at the time that the name sort of change happened, Margaret was used as sort of a generic name. And animals were quite often given people names anyway. Like the robin was originally the Robert Redbreast, and that became the Robin Redbreast, and that became the Robin. The wren was a Jenny Wren. There were lots of times names were used, human names, people names were used for animals. But the magpie is a bit different. Margaret at the time was just like a name used for generic women. And you would use it like we say bud or mate nowadays to mean male person who you happen to know. Well, Margaret was the same. It was a female person who you happen to know. But again, like a lot of things, other words got added to this, including chatter. And so you had a chatter mag, or a chattering mag, or a chattering Margaret, a lady who liked to gossip and talk a lot. So you had your gossiping ladies, the chatter mags. Now, if you ever listen to a magpie shout or talk, they kind of chatter a lot, almost like they're gossiping. So it became a chattering magpie, a pie that's chattering like a mag or like a chatter mag. Over time, the chatter got dropped and it became a magpie. Now, pie then took on a new meaning, meaning black and white. A piebald horse, a pied wagtail. There are the pied flycatcher. There's other examples. The pied wagtail we'll come back to in another video. But that's the etymology of the name. I love that word. I have to be careful because etymology is words and entomology is bugs, or round the other way. But that's where their name came from. Now, their scientific name is pica pica, and it's only in animals that we're allowed to have a double reference. So, for example, the gorilla is gorilla, which is the main gorilla. The western silverback, the western something gorilla. I forgot about it now. But the western lowland gorilla, that's it. The western lowland gorilla is gorilla. The common toad, bufo, grass snake, natrix, and the red fox, vulpes. It's something you can do in animals, but we're not allowed to do it in plants, which is a bit unfair, really. I mean, an oak tree could be like quercus. But that's by the by. The name pica is also used for another thing. When a pregnant person has the desire, the want to eat something that's not really a foodstuff, that scientifically is known by doctors as pica. And it comes from magpies, from the belief that magpies liked to eat things or steal things that aren't really edible. Everyone knows about this sort of belief of finding gold and silver in a magpie nest. I mean, it doesn't happen. So there are magpies all over the world, but not all of them are related to our magpie, the pica. In fact, the picas are only black and white magpies, but not all black and white magpies. So the Australian magpie is not a pica magpie, it's just named the magpie because it looks like the pica magpie. There are other species that are more colourful, but they again are not pica magpies. They're different species and genus altogether. With a small songbird singing overhead and the magpies all flying about. That's it for day 9 of 30 Days of Wild. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 10. We are a third the way through tomorrow. See you later. Bye.